Steve Biko was an extraordinary man. He was a very big influence in my life. For those who don't know, Steve Biko was the leader of, I was one of the leaders, although at that time a very junior, relatively junior person in the National Union of Students, NUSAS, which was supposedly legally a non-racial organization, but actually white dominated for a variety of reasons, including just pure numbers. Steve Biko was in NUSAS, but he and a group of fellow black students formed an organization called SASO, the South African Student Organization, which was a black consciousness organization. They said black people had to organize on their own. They had to get themselves together, organize themselves, express their blackness and express their power, and then deal with white people from a position of power rather than being submerged in white-led organizations. Now, I got involved in NUSAS in, I think, late 1970, and the first NUSAS event I attended was the last one the SASO people attended. So we just coincided in student politics. And at the end of it, the meeting was in Cape Town. At the end of it, I was going home to Port Elizabeth, my hometown, which was about 500 miles away. And when Steve heard that I was doing that, he said, oh, he wanted to go to Port Elizabeth. Could I give him a lift in my car? And I said, of course. I was very bowled over because he was already a great man. I was very junior. Anyway, so we spent the whole day in the car together, driving on our own, two of us between Port Elizabeth and Cape Town and Port Elizabeth, 10 hours. And that became the foundation of a friendship. He was an extraordinary human being. He was very pro-black, and there wasn't a bone or muscle or anything in his body which was anti-white. He could draw that distinction, and he drew it effortlessly. So you could have white friends with whom he could engage with ease, but at the same time, he was very militantly pro-black consciousness, saying we have to have a separate organization. And so that was the beginning of our friendship, and then we maintained contact over the years until he was finally killed when he was in detention, not that many years later. But he was a powerful intellect. He transformed not just student politics, but he had a much wider influence on the society, and he was an extraordinary political figure and also an extraordinary human being, a great charisma.